Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be solving every single Hanayama Ultraman puzzle, which is completely different to anything we've done before. Usually it's just we solve one puzzle at a time, but yeah, we're going to be doing it different this time. This time we're going to be solving 4 puzzles in one video, which we've never done before. Now there is a reason for that, and the reason is sort of what the Ultraman puzzles are based upon. Now, from my limited research, I think Ultraman is like some sort of Japanese superhero cartoony thing. And I think what Hanayama have done is used some of the original Hanayama puzzles, like these ones down here and up here, and sort of put a bit of an Ultraman twist on them. So I think these 4 puzzles that we're going to be solving today are based upon puzzles that we've already done. And that is the reason why we are going to be attempting to solve all 4 of them in one sitting. And as always, today our aim is to disassemble and then reassemble all 4 of the Ultraman puzzles. And that will be our work done for today. And that is enough of me yapping on about puzzles. Let's actually get into solving these 4. Okay, so here are all 4 Ultraman puzzles, and yeah, we're going to be doing these in difficulty order, which is, this one is the shooting star puzzle, that's a level 1. This is the beta capsule, which is a level 3. This is the ultra guard, which is a level 4. And this one is the Ultra Eye, which is a level 5. That is on the 6-star Hanayama difficulty scale. And before we actually get into it, I need to talk about how nice this box is. This is by far the best looking Hanayama box. Well, yeah, by far. I'll say by far, what, 3 times now, because of how much I like these boxes. But anyway, normally there's like clues and stuff on the back. Obviously I can't read this language, so we're not going to be reading the boxes for any tips. But as I said, I think these are all based on puzzles that we've already done, so what we don't really need is a tip. So we'll start, we're going to go in difficulty order, so this one, this one, this one, and this one, and yeah, I'll talk you through like what these are all based on. Like this one, for instance, level 1 puzzle, this is based on the diamond puzzle, and the move itself is very, very slick. I mean, it's probably much harder to find on the diamond puzzle than it will be if you're trying to do this one first. And this one is a rare for Hanayama, because this one comes separated and the challenge is to put it back together. Usually sort of 95% of the Hanayama puzzles are the opposite. So if you get it in a fully assembled position and then you have to disassemble it, and that's the main challenge. But this one comes separated and you have to put it back into its original proper place, which is this position here, which is a very nice and slick spin. So these are obviously exact mirror images from sort of this level, and all we do is we lay them back to back, turn them around, and that is how we reassemble the shooting star puzzle. So far so good. These are living up to my expectations in terms of being able, or they are modeled on puzzles that we solved previously, so the solution matches up. This one, the beta capsule puzzle, is modeled on the cage puzzle, and obviously our aim is to get this star out of this, well, capsule in this case, or a cage in the original puzzle sense. And we need to do 2 things before we start to solve this one. One of them, I mean, this is much smaller than the cage puzzle, or the actual sort of this aspect of it. Sort of this is almost just like a handle by the looks of it, or some sort of thing from the actual Ultraman cartoon show, whatever it is. But yeah, this bit that we're actually working on is much smaller, and we have to do 2 things. We've got to identify which of these things, which of these spaces the star is going to come out of, which I think is this place here, because this gap here is sort of the biggest gap as we're looking around. It might be there, but that'd mean us being upside down. So we'll try this one first, and if we can't get it out of here, then we'll switch to here. And the second part is identifying a certain point on the star piece, which is going to be tougher than I think, on the original cage puzzle because of how small it is. I mean, the cage puzzle is fiddly in terms of when you're trying to maneuver the star, but this seems even harder, to be honest. And what we're looking for is the shortest of the points on the star, which is currently in this position here. It's quite hard to see with it being so small and with me struggling to maneuver it around. So this is the smallest point in here on the top. We don't want that one coming out first. We actually want, right, to be honest, it's hard to see because I'm not going to describe the solution in too much detail. I mean, if you want to see the proper laid out solution for this one, then have a look at the cage puzzle solution video on this channel. But for now, I think because we're looking for a certain angle on the star, but it's so small, I'm not 100% sure that we're going to be able to actually identify it. So we're going to trial and error our way around because there's only really like 4 possible positions, and I think we've nailed it second time. So here again, I'm not going to talk you through it too much, but next the smallest star or point comes out, and that should slip past that corner there, and then we separate it from here. So yeah, we nailed it first time. Got the right point. Got the right point on the star, got the right place of where it's going to come out, and we'll put it back in quickly so we can move on to the next one. Turn that round and that falls back in. I think, to be honest, I've made that one look easy. I mean, that is super fiddly. I mean, the cage puzzle, as I've exactly just said, the cage puzzle is fiddly. This one is 10 times harder. This one is the Ultra Guard puzzle, and this is the one I'm most excited about because I believe, or I'm fairly certain, that this one is modelled on one of my favourite Hanayamas, which is the cylinder puzzle. Now our aim, there's actually 5 pieces to this puzzle, so this bit on top, this circle bit on the bottom, and then there's 3 bits which make up this middle point in here. And the way you solve this one is almost like you're trying to crack a safe, because you need to get certain points lined up. You see how that bit just dipped in there? It comes up and then it dips and sort of turns with it. So yeah, you have to get a certain point lined, or 2 certain points lined up in the right position to get this one started. But I think, again, this is a smaller, or the actual cylinder part is smaller than the cylinder, which is me. See, we're looking for, again, I'm not going to describe the solution in too much detail. If you want to see that, then check out the cylinder puzzle solution. There, see how that, I mean, I had to sort of push it down a little bit. And you'll also see that it's offset, so you see that the angle here is different to when we look at the angle here. Right, so now we're in a much more familiar position. We've got it so we can push any piece through one side to the other side. So now, right, this is taking a lot longer than it should have done, but this solution is looking exactly the same. So now I know that this piece, again, I'm not going to explain why, but I know that this piece is the wrong piece to be coming through first. So what I'm going to do is clamp down better than I did previously, rotate the 3 middle pieces around, so this is the right piece. So this piece here is very slightly different, so what we need to do is get that piece to the other side down here, and then we're gonna, while that's down, rotate it around. Should be around this position, but it doesn't seem to want to drop. There we go. So we've got 2 down. That's not going to twist now. So now I think this piece should drop further down. There we go. So we did have these 2 pieces down. I switched to this bit, and this bit has now dropped down enough And now you might be able to see that this one's going to turn underneath this one, and then that's going to have the room then to drop out the bottom, or it should do. There. Oh, there we go. So that's the first piece that's dropped out, and now you can see the, oh well, it'll be easier to see in a second actually. Now we can just line up the gaps on the these two outer shell pieces. I can see, oops, that it was all lined up, but even still it was a struggle to get it out. So there we go. Make a note of which bit is which. So you'll see here, now you can see that here is the gap on this bit, and here is the gap on this bit. And that solution, which took 20 minutes longer than it should have done, but it seems like it had to be super precise. But you have to line up that gap with that gap on here, and then essentially just do various things with those positions to eventually slide these pieces out. And you'll see that all these three pieces are the same, apart from one slight detail on this bit, which is this extra groove in here, which allows it to move and then allow one of these other bits to drop down at the same time. So that was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. Turns out that the solution is exactly the same as it is on the cylinder puzzle. Putting it back together when you know where the gaps are is a lot easier, although I may have just spoken too soon. There we go. There we go. I'll quickly spin it so that we don't lose that position. But wow, there we go. That is the Ultra Guard puzzle done. And I know for a fact that this Ultra Eye puzzle isn't going to take as long. This one, I'm pretty sure, is based on the News puzzle, which involves 2 spins. But with this one, I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work. And oh, seems like, yeah, we've got it straight away. We've got it straight away. So this one is, yeah, involves these things here that drop down and that drop down in here. And it's obviously when you tip it one way, one comes out. When you tip it the other way to get that one out the way, this one becomes in the way. So it's the only way to get rid of them, although needs to be done face down. Okay. So you only need to, it looks to me that you probably only need to spin it upside down, because that gets these out of the way, as you can see here. But when you do it this way around, they don't. Oh, that one does, but this one doesn't seem to get out of the way. But it's out of the way now, and all we need to do is drop it, not upside down, back in there, give it a tilt, and yeah, that is the Ultra Eye puzzle done. So after what, half an hour, which, well, I think over 20 minutes on the Ultra Guard, but we've done it. We've solved all the Ultraman puzzles, and a lot more awkward than I was expecting, but we set out to do all 4, and we've done all 4. Job done. So there we go, we managed to eventually solve all 4 Hanayama Ultraman puzzles. It took a lot longer than I was expecting. I was right in terms of each puzzle was modelled on another puzzle or a previous puzzle that we've solved, which was good. What I didn't expect was, I guess specifically with the Ultra Guard puzzle, was how much more difficult a slightly smaller version of the same puzzle can be. And the same goes for the equivalent of the cage puzzle as well, when you're trying to get that star puzzle out. So in this case, the beta capsule puzzle. The size difference definitely made that one a lot more awkward as well. But on the flip side, the other 2, the shooting star and the Ultra Eye puzzle, they were easier than their original puzzle versions. So the diamond puzzle is harder than this because of the shape. I think probably if you were coming fresh into one or the other, I think you would solve the shooting star quicker than you would solve the diamond. And probably the same for the Ultra Eye as well, because you only have to spin it on one side versus the news puzzle having to be spun on both sides, which is probably why I didn't realize this at the start, that there's a slight difference in difficulty. The Ultra Eye is level 5, whereas the news puzzle up here, this one here, is a level 6, and this one requires like a spin, then you flip it over and then you spin again, whereas the one that we've just done, the Ultra Eye, as I've said 3 times now, only involves a spin on one side. And there we go, job done for the day. We've managed to solve them all. Longer than I was expecting, but yeah, very enjoyable. Some of the best looking puzzles that in the entire Hanayama collection. Obviously this is a very small sort of like mini collection within the big Hanayama collection, but I would very much recommend getting them. They look brilliant. The cylinder, or the Ultra Guard as well, is one of my favorites. Maybe this one, I think the cylinder is more of my favorite because it's a bigger version, it's easier. The Ultra Guard is definitely tougher. I need a little bit of practice with that one now. Anyway, I'm yakking on a little bit too much. Thank you very much for being here. Let me know in the comments what you think of all these 4 Hanayama Ultraman puzzles. And if you want to see more things like this, plus the step-by-step solutions to all the Hanayama puzzles, then be sure to click my face here to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Peace!